Welcome to One Tired Teacher, episode 227, STEM for Halloween. 3 ideas for integrating seasonal STEM activities into your classroom or media center. So I'm excited today to be talking about one of my favorite holidays during school. Now, I love Halloween at school because kids love Halloween. Halloween is exciting. And I know that everyone can't celebrate Halloween. And so sometimes we have to just do pumpkins and fall and things like that. And that's what we have to do. We can adapt that. But when we can celebrate, I think we need to embrace it because I think it's such an exciting time. As the air turns crisp and the leaves begin to fall, it's time to embrace the spooky spirit of Halloween in your classroom. And today I'm going to share some ideas to do just that. Hope you stick around.
Welcome to One Tired Teacher. And even though she may need a nap, this teacher is ready to wake up and speak her truth about the trials and treasures of teaching. Here she is, wide awake. Wait, she's not asleep right now, is she? She is awake, right? Okay. From Trina Debery Teaching and Learning, your host, Trina Debery.
Hey, so today we're talking about STEM for Halloween. But before we do that, I want to let you know that this episode is being sponsored by my Halloween Matter unit. Such a fun way to teach matter. Boo! Halloween isn't just for trick-or-treaters. It's also for tricks and teaches. Why is it go so chilly, Mom? Well, it's all about the states of matter, sweetie. Teachers, ignite the spooky spirit while educating your students. Dive into the mysteries of matter with the Halloween Science States of Matter package, exclusively designed for 2nd grade. From melting witches to vaporizing vampires, your students will be spellbound by the science of changing states of matter. Get ready for some haunted hands-on experiments and wicked worksheets. Look, my ice cube ghost is melting. Educate, entertain, and enthrall this Halloween season. And the best part, you don't have to brew up your lesson plans from scratch. My class was enchanted. Learning has never been this ghostly fun. Transform your classroom into a laboratory of laughs and learning. Grab your Halloween Science States of Matter packet now on my store at Trina Debery Teaching and Learning at teacherspayteachers.com. Beware, high demand is scarier than any ghost. Ooh, happy haunting and happy teaching. So that is the resource that is sponsoring the show, and it is such a fun thing to do, and I hope that you will grab it up and enjoy the heck out of it. All right, so let's talk about the air turning crisp and the leaves beginning to fall, and it's time to really embrace that spooky spirit of Halloween in your classroom. But why settle for boring old candy and costumes when you can infuse STEM, magic, and so much fun into this Halloween season? I want you to get ready to turn your classroom into a makerspace filled with spine-tingling experiments, hair-raising challenges, and ghoulishly fun activities that will have your students shrieking with delight while learning valuable STEM skills through fun STEM challenges, a makerspace extension or two, and spooky chemical reactions, and more. So in this episode, we'll explore 3 wickedly awesome ideas for integrating seasonal STEM activities into your curriculum, ensuring that this Halloween is anything but ordinary. And that is a big deal because you know how I don't like to just be ordinary. I am always thinking about wanting to reach kids and get kids excited. And my goal is for teachers to give you back your time, to ensure that you are not spending every waking hour on teaching and on your job, but you can at the same time still create an atmosphere where kids fall in love with learning. That's the goal. So why STEM activities? Why are they important for Halloween? Well, Halloween, it can be known for its costumes and its creepy crawlies and its candy, but it's also the perfect time to incorporate STEM activities into our classrooms and into our celebrations. Makerspace moments can take a spooky twist as kids use their creativity and problem-solving skills to design and build haunted houses or creating creepy crawlies using various materials. By engaging in these hands-on activities, students develop their critical thinking abilities, and we know how important that is. We want to foster a sense of collaboration as they work through these challenges and these problems that have to do with maybe a Halloween story, and we want them to work with their peers to bring this terrifying vision to life. Additionally, I think the thing that we need to remember is that Halloween STEM themed activities offer a unique opportunity for focused, close reading. And while children may eagerly devour Halloween stories from cover to cover, incorporating science or math related texts like this nonfiction text that has to do with science types of activities, such as, looking at the informational text on dry ice, or maybe looking at an informational text on matter, and that matter resource that I spoke of at the beginning of the episode, the one that's sponsoring this particular episode, that has a lot of informational text written about solids, liquids, and gases, and changing matter, changing physical properties and things like that. And so kids actually have the opportunity to read while they are learning about some exciting science topics. So just keep that in mind. When we do that, when we incorporate science and math, related text into the holiday, it can provide a valuable interdisciplinary approach. For instance, exploring the oozy goo and the thick eyeballs is an excellent way for kids to explore matter during this holiday and enhance their reading comprehension and skills on the topic of solids, liquids, and gases. Now, educators can captivate young minds by seamlessly integrating these subjects into the Halloween spirit, while also encouraging them to connect STEM concepts with real-world applications. So this Halloween season, let's unleash our little scientist's inner monster. When we combine Makerspace moments with focused, close reading opportunities on spooky subjects like bats or cauldron chemistry, we can spark a love for STEM that lasts far beyond October 31st. And who knows, one day, these very same students will become inventors of ingenious gadgets that make trick-or-treating even more thrilling. Or they might even discover innovative ways of tackling ghoulish problems like ghost repellents or zombie-proof shelters. You just never know. When their imaginations are endless. And that's the exciting thing when we tap into holidays and we tap into the natural world around us when we are talking about STEM subjects, because kids are so much more engaged. So let's look at idea number 1, which is a Halloween states of matter experiment for this time of year, which this is the resource I was speaking of. With Halloween just approaching, and we're a little bit ahead of schedule because this episode is coming out in the second week of September. So we are ahead of schedule, which I've tried to be ahead of schedule for once this year. That was my goal, is to provide information so that you had a chance to digest, whether you are reading the blog post or you're listening to the podcast episode, then you had a little bit of time to digest, and then you had a little bit of time to gather some of these materials and then actually incorporate them in the month of October and or for Halloween. So I'm hoping to be ahead of schedule this year. I'm keeping my fingers crossed to really provide resources and content for you so that you are feeling like you are not scrambling at the last minute. Just wanted to let you know. So as we start to approach this time, it really is time to start thinking about spooky activities to get into the festive spirit. Look no further than the Halloween Matter unit explicitly created for second graders. It really is the perfect way to combine science and scares for one of our favorite holidays. I have this same unit in a Christmas theme, and the Christmas time is really fun to do states of matter as well. And the reason I did this is because our curriculum map changed in my district, many years ago. And so the time I had to teach states of matter changed. And so I was like, well, I'll modify it and make a Halloween unit. And also this is a lap book. So it's a really fun way to display information that students learned. And that makes it exciting and a little bit different. It also has different characters and different materials and things like that, so that it's specifically focused on Halloween. which is really fun. And I love the ooey gooey eyeballs that you can find at the Dollar General or the Dollar Tree. So gross. It's so fun though. So it's a fun thing to do. So imagine mixing potions, creating bubbling concoctions, and witnessing magical transformations in your classroom or kitchen. This experiment is entertaining and educational, making it a win-win for both kids and adults. One delightful twist you can add to this experiment is using everyday ingredients creatively. For instance, instead of using regular food coloring for your potion, why not try fruit juice or vegetable dyes? I thought that was an interesting thinking around it. This will give you your experiments an extra creepy touch with unexpected colors like beet red or spinach green, but it also is a healthier alternative. But don't tell the kids that. You'll be amazed at how simple substitutions can elevate your Halloween matter experiment from ordinary to extraordinary. In addition to engaging in traditional matter experiments with some eerie twists, think outside the box when it comes to presentation. After all, what fun would Halloween be without some visual theatrics? Try incorporating dry ice into your experiments. Trust me, nothing says spooky quite like billowing smoke emerging from bubbling cauldrons or potions that seem alive with the vapor swirling mysteriously. It's like having your own laboratory straight out of a witch's enchanted lair. So much fun. Kids absolutely love it. All right, let's look at idea number 2. Makerspace moments focused on a makerspace activity or two. If you've ever doubted the infinite possibilities of a simple popsicle stick, let me take a moment to enlighten you. As a Makerspace enthusiast myself, I've witnessed countless extraordinary creations come to life with just these humble wooden sticks. From agricultural wonders that defy gravity to intricate kinetic sculptures that spark joy, these tiny slivers of wood hold immense potential in the hands of imaginative makers. Who knew that something as mundane as a popsicle stick could be transformed into a tool for engineering marvels? After reading one of my this isn't really one of my favorites. I take that back. This is a favorite for younger kids. This is a great one for kindergarten or even pre-K. And first graders enjoy this one too. It's based on the house that Jack built, but it's called This is the House That Monsters Built by Steve Metzing. And I actually linked to this in my show notes and the blog post so that you can find this book on Amazon. It's a super fun makerspace. It makes it for a super fun makerspace moment. It's creating haunted houses out of popsicle sticks, and you give kids like limited resources. And it doesn't even just have to be popsicle sticks. It can be cardboard. It can be construction paper. It can be, it can even be Legos if you want to do it that way. But I think it's really fun I'll give them a limited amount of materials because you do want to give them some criteria and some constraints, and they have to do it in a certain time frame. That way you're not going forever and ever. And kids have a creative blast creating their very own solutions to monsters' problems. So that's really fun. And they work through the engineering design process. There's also some close reading activities that go along with that makerspace moment. And I've also linked to that in the blog post. And you can find that fun activity on TPT as well. After a few more makerspace moments that get kids thinking through the engineering design process while also having a blast with Halloween activities is I Need My Monster by Amanda Knoll, Something Pumpkin by Scott Allen, and Skeleton for Dinner by Marjorie Collery. Now, Skeleton for Dinner, that is probably one of my favorites. I also love I Need My Monster, but Skeleton for Dinner is such a cute little mix on words, and kids are like, wait a minute, is skeleton, are they going to eat skeleton for dinner? And it's really cute. If you've ever read A Turkey for Thanksgiving, which is another favorite of mine, that idea of turkey being the dinner rather than the guest is so cute, and so cute how turkey's so worried. And that reminds me of that in Skeleton for Dinner, which is a great connection, a book, a text to text connection. Anyway, so I have makerspace moments for all of those books. The books are not included. The books are written by the author and those are sold separately. I do have a link to them to make it easier for you to find. And but I also have those Makerspace moment extensions that come with some close reading activities. And then the Makerspace, they have a challenge and then they work through that part as well, which makes it really fun. So you're kind of tying literature and engineering together. And maybe if you wanted to add a little bit of science into the mix, you could do, when you're doing the skeleton for dinner, maybe you start talking about, some the bones and the human body. Human body was a science topic that we had to discuss in second grade pretty briefly, but we looked at different systems, and one of them was we could look at the bones in the skull and things like that. So then you're adding some science into it. In an age where technology often dominates our lives, seeing individuals engage with tangible materials like popsicle sticks and candy pumpkins and molding clay in such innovative ways brings back a sense of playfulness and creativity we might have forgotten we possessed. So let's embrace these Makerspace moments wholeheartedly and cherish every ingenious creation brought to life by those unassuming materials, because who knows what remarkable feats await us when we allow ourselves the freedom to explore. Fairy tale castles, wind-powered race cars, the sky is the limit. All right, idea number 3. A spooky Halloween tune with Halloween STEM activities and story stations. Makerspace story stations are one of my favorite things. I have been creating lots and lots of them. If you are a follower of my store on TPT, Trina Debris Teaching and Learning, then you will see that I have created tons of story stations. I love story stations because I take literature, and in this case, I took 10 Halloween books, and created a challenge for each story. And there's also a digital choice board, and they work through the engineering design process. So fun. So looking for Halloween activity that will send shivers down your spine while engaging your little ghouls and goblins in some STEM fun, look no further than a creative, spooky Halloween tune with Halloween STEM activities and story stations. This idea combines the magic of music, the thrill of storytelling, and the excitement of science to create an unforgettable October experience. Now, I should say experience, not experiment. When I say Halloween tune, like that is fun to have playing after you have read the story, maybe even during the story, but you're reading the story and then your kids are coming up with the solutions to the problems for the character. And then they're working through the engineering design process or asking questions about the solution. They're imagining, they're brainstorming, they're creating, they're testing, they're revising, and then they're communicating about it. But it's fun to have like something fun playing in the background. Some Halloween tune just makes it, a little bit more exciting. So first, gather some eerie sounding instruments like a toy xylophone or a keyboard and let your imagination run wild. Experiment with different combination of notes to create spine-chilling melodies reminiscent of haunting tunes from horror movies. You don't want to get too scary if your students are little. Obviously, you want to be sensitive about your age, which age you're targeting. Next, set up various story stations around your classroom or your media center where kids can explore spooky tales brought to life through props, sound effects, and interactive elements. As they move from station to station, encourage them to use their problem-solving skills by asking questions like, why do you think the main character made that choice? Or, what would you have done differently in this situation? This hands-on approach fosters creativity and strengthens young minds' critical thinking skills. In this Halloween Makerspace Story Station bundle, kids will have access to 10 different Halloween stories and 10 different problems that characters face. By asking and answering questions about solutions, students will work in small groups to plan, create, revise, and reflect upon solutions. And a digital choice board is included. The digital choice board makes it really fun, especially if you're in a media center because they pick which challenge they want to do and they click on it and it takes them to a read aloud of the story on YouTube. And so you're integrating technology in that case. And then they go to they work through the engineering design process and then they create the solution. And so it's just super fun. Finally, these story stations work to incorporate some STEM activities into the mix. Set up building blocks or Legos on a table and challenge your little monsters to construct solutions to the various problems they encounter in the story stations. Encourage them to think about how these solutions answer the problem in each story. So, in conclusion, benefits of incorporating seasonal STEM activities for elementary students. The benefits of incorporating seasonal STEM activities for elementary students are manifold. First and foremost, these activities allow young scientists to apply their knowledge and skills to real-world scenarios while having a blast. Take, for instance, Halloween-themed experiments like spaghetti brains for a new look at solids or ghostly slime concoctions. They create an exciting learning environment and foster creativity and problem-solving skills as students use their scientific know-how to transform ordinary household items into spooky surprises. Moreover, seasonal STEM activities provide a unique opportunity to encourage students in hands-on learning experiences. Educators can really capture their attention more effectively by making connections between scientific concepts and popular holidays like Halloween, like Christmas, Thanksgiving. For example, building like a gingerbread house at Christmas. This is talking about fun and sweet on the surface. However, it involves architectural engineering principles such as stability and balance, and a tasty lesson is included. By infusing STEM into festive occasions, teachers can cultivate a sense of curiosity among children, extending really far beyond the classroom walls. Incorporating seasonal STEM activities into elementary education has proven immensely beneficial for young learners. It encourages them to explore the wonders of science through interactive experiments and empowers them with critical thinking abilities that will serve them well in the future. And I also, in the actual blog post, I linked to some related podcast episodes that you might want to check out. I talked about episode 147, 148, 149, 50, and 51. I have several other episodes on Halloween if you're interested. Also, go ahead and immerse your little scientist in this whirlwind world of hands-on fun. It's time for them to discover that learning is not just reserved for boring textbooks, but can creep its way into every corner of our lives. So I hope that you got some ideas from this episode and you're ready to jump into October. Until next time, sweet dreams and sleep tight.